Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio. Here is chapter 1. Just kidding. This is part of a journal collaboration with 5 other artists. There's 6 of us total. They're calling it hashtag 6pack collab. And it is a group of YouTube artists, and we are creating a journal one piece at a time. So we're each making a cover, and then we send it to the next person. They'll put the signatures in, send it to the next person. They'll do another piece, and so on until it's gone through all 6 of us. So chapter 1 is the cover. So, just because I decided I wanted to try making the faux leather look cover. Never done it before. Why not, something that's going to be handled by other people. Make it the first time you try something. So I watched several videos on how to make a brown paper sack look like leather. And in the end, I do it my own way because I didn't especially like the results I was getting. You'll see. So the first step is to crinkle up. You want a heavier paper sack. So this is a pretty heavy paper sack. And because it makes it feel more leathery, right? So I'm wrinkling it up, and I'm carefully curling in the ends as I wrinkle. That prevents tearing. So I do that several times. You open it and close it. That way the wrinkles end up in different places. And then I added, this is just water. I'm just getting it a little wet. And I'm going to crumple it up some more. This will make it a little bit more pliable. Though it's starting to get pretty soft now. It's still going to get tattering on the edges, but yeah, I think I did pretty good not tearing it too badly, considering how big that was. And look, now I can fit it in one hand. So a lot of them suggested using conditioner on it. So I grabbed out my hair conditioner. They said any kind. And I just put some on there, rubbed it on, and I'm going to crunch it up several more times. Okay, so about the journal collaboration, I will have the links to all the other participants in my description box below. Videos are coming out when they're ready to come out. So it won't be all on one day like a hop or anything, but you can search the hashtag or you can click on their channels. And when you do, hit the like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're not subscribed to all those channels. And yeah, it'll be fun. We're doing it once a month. This is going to take a while because there's 6 steps to this process. So in the fake leather making videos I watched, they all did this. They inked it, and I guess if you want crinkled leather, it's not exactly what I was going for. But I figured since it was distress ink, I could get it wet and it would bleed, right? It doesn't really bleed. I probably didn't have that much ink on there. So I am spraying it with water, trying to get it to blend a little bit. And then I decide to pull out my walnut spray and give it a couple of spritzes with that. Because I wanted it a little bit darker brown. See, I'm trying to smear it around. It's not working. Maybe if I dropped it in a sink full of water, it might have bled. This is some walnut ink I've had forever. I went looking because I was thinking I was low, and this is expensive stuff. I know it wasn't that expensive when I bought it. Of course, I think I bought it in the 90s. That's how long I've had it. And it's almost gone. I try to use it very sparingly. So I do that, and I'm going to leave it to dry to see what it looks like. So here it is dry, And I decide I'm going to try and wax it to hopefully make it look a little richer. So I'm just going to test a spot and see what it looks like. And I've had this Daddy Vans for a really long time. It's very, very liquidy. I can't remember if it was liquidy when I first got it. And it's unscented, but it has a little bit of a smell. Like by the time, I mean not right this moment, but by the time I cover the entire paper with this Daddy Vans, my room was starting to smell. It didn't smell rancid, but does this stuff get old? Should I throw this away? I'm asking your opinion. Okay, so I didn't think it was dark enough. So this is Burnt Umber from the Hippie Crafter. And I'm just putting a little bit down. I let it dry, or I think I hit it with the heat tool, dried it. Now I'm putting a little bit of the wax on there. And I think I like that better. Like a rich brown leather, right? So, yes, I let that sit overnight actually, and figured I would check it the next day. Here it is the next day. And I decide, and I know that went by really fast. So I do have this on really fast speed because otherwise we'd be here for an hour. Well, and actually, I don't think the iPad I'm doing this on has the memory capacity to upload an hour-long video. So I've got to shrink it down a little bit. And so I decide I liked the brown, but I didn't want it just to look like paint. So I'm adding a little bit of water so that you can see a little bit of the texture. And I didn't test this type. I don't have time. I got into this collab a little bit behind the rest of the group, so I didn't have time to take too many days to figure this out. So I paint it all with the watered down brown, and this is it. You can see some areas are a little heavier than others, and it's kind of a halfway in between the no paint and the paint. I like it okay. It's okay. I shouldn't be doing something I've never done before when I'm going to be sending it on and all these other really good artists are going to see it. So here it is after I waxed the whole thing. And it was really shiny. I mean, I didn't mind the shine, but it still felt oily. So I took an iron to it. Is that weird? I thought maybe it would melt the wax into the paper more. It doesn't really because there's paint on it. It just kind of evaporated the wax. I don't know what it did to the wax. But I go around and I do the whole thing, and then it ends up not shiny, which I'm okay with. And I know Rosemary is now going, you lost all the beautiful wrinkliness of the whole thing by ironing it. And guess what? If I do any coffee dyeing, which I have never done before for my pages, they'll be ironed. Most likely. Alright, so you probably didn't need to see me iron the whole thing, but there it is, all done, I think. And it actually feels really good. It's got a good feeling. So I have my boards that I'm going to use to make the cover and the spine. I took boards from a pad of paper, from a, probably watercolor paper. I saved those. I have a pile of them. I save them so I can use them for this purpose. And we're going to make those the structure of our book. I could have found gutted an old book or something, but I don't have anything quite that size. I only have a few books that I'm willing to gut. And yeah, they're not that size. So I am just using Elmer's glue. It's a PVA. As far as I know, it's perfectly fine to use in this manner. I've used it on quite a few of my artist books that I've made. I think I used it on a junk journal. I have made a junk journal before. This is not a first time, but it's not something I've done on a regular basis. Though I have watched a lot of junk journal videos. But yeah, so I'm trying to spread that kind of thin, but I don't want any air bubbles. I want it to like stick completely everywhere. So I'm trying to make sure there isn't any dry patches. And I wasn't really worried about it soaking through, and I didn't have to. Nothing like looks like it's soaked through weird or anything on the glue. On this part, anyway. We'll see if I point out any flaws later on. I am leaving a little bit of a space between the front and back covers and the spine so that it can open and close freely. And yeah, I've got too much glue on there. There we go. I'm using that ruler to keep a straight line so that I don't end up with a crooked book. And to push it all down, I pulled out my Baron and just made sure everything had good contact. And then, yeah, we're going to flip it over and fold over the edges. So I'm just snipping off the corner, leaving enough space so that those corners are covered. And then we'll glue them on. And I'm going to use Elmer's again here too. So I'm just bending all the edges. I like to pre-bend them so that it's not as much of a struggle with all the glue on once I have the glue on there. So I just want to make sure it's all good and they're going to stick down. And I actually happened to have this Elmer's glue for another project, so I was glad I did, because I don't think I could have done art glitter glue, and my Fabri-Tac is gone hard. So, and I don't have any Aleene's, I don't think. So again, just I push in the end there just to make sure that piece is covered. And I watched APG, her chapter 1 is out there to watch. I watched her, and she does top, bottom, side. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Alright, so once that was done, I did put it under weight and let it sit overnight to get nice and stiff. And then I started thinking, I have this, I think it's Inca Gold, and thought I could rub over the texture and get some gold on here. And you know what happens once you start putting sparkly, shiny stuff? It's like, what is it? Like a raccoon. He sees something shiny, he has to grab it, and he won't let go to get away. And so this ends up getting a little too much gold. So I think at one point you'll see it really gold, and then later it won't look quite as gold. That's because I added a little watered down brown paint over the top of it, because I do get a little carried away with this gold. It's so much fun. And this is really old clearance gold, and I have to keep adding water because it's really dry. And it's streaky, and it's, but you can't tell. Because there's going to be a topper on it. And, yeah, I learned that term doing this project. That'll cover most of the streakiness in the middle up, so it won't even matter. But isn't that fun? Gold is fun. I had a silvery gold, like an antique gold, but it was so hard, even spraying water on it wouldn't reactivate it. I don't know if I kept it with water in it or if I just tossed it, because they were so old. I got them on clearance like forever ago and still have them, so that was probably my first ever clearance haul at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Back in, I don't know, 2015, 16. That's how old they are. Yeah, see, I just get a little carried away with that gold because, it's fun. And I was loving I don't know why I didn't like the wrinkles in it when I was first wrinkling it, but when you add the gold to those wrinkles, I like the wrinkles with gold on them. It's all about bling. But yeah, I hope you guys will check out all the channels and watch their videos. I've watched a few videos, a few people I follow. There's a few people I'm new to, and I've gone and watched their videos. They have some really pretty stuff. Mostly journalers, so. Yeah. At the end of this, I think we're going to do a giveaway. I think that's, I don't know if it's set in stone or if that's the general consensus, but that'll be a while down the road. Pardon my cough. Sorry about that. I don't think I've talked this long for a while. And yes, I'm still putting gold on, I know. A little carried away. I really liked having that dark gold edge. So, yeah. Alright. So you can see it's very gold here. Now, thinking of the topper, I remembered I had this sort of compass, and I thought it would be fun to do it with dimensional paint. So I have mixed the burnt umber with some modeling paste, and I'm going to put it on this muslin. And since it's a mask rather than a stencil, it is going to have kind of a wonky edge around it because I want to go over the whole thing. But I still want you to be able to tell there's fabric. So I try to make the edges kind of smear out a little bit. I don't know, you can give me your opinion. What do you think? Was it the right way to go? Should I have covered the whole thing with the paint? And that was kind of interesting. I don't have it now. I've shipped it. It's on its way to APG Jamie. She has it next. But the paint curls a little bit as it dries on that fabric. So it's interesting. Hopefully it won't peel off. It's not fabric paint. Alright. So to make sure the spine, because that other side is just the paper right now. It'll get fabric on the other side too, but I want to reinforce the spine. I don't have any Tyvek. I don't get things in Tyvek. In fact, when I went to go ship my package to APG, I had to go buy me a priority envelope, the right size, because the post office was out. And they didn't have any plastic ones or Tyvek ones. But, so I don't have any Tyvek, so I can't use that. So I am using fabric. That's what they did in the olden days. They used fabric. They used book cloth. This is not book cloth. I tried, this is my 3-in-1. I edited most of that out because it was not moving. So we're going back to the Elmer's glue. And we're just going to glue it down. Spreading this out so it's nice and smooth. And this, hopefully, the center section will be covered up by whomever, APG Jamie, when she puts the signatures in. Now, I watched her do her cover and her spine. Man, she's got so many layers there. I don't have that many layers, but I think it'll hold up just fine. It's fabric. So, gluing that down, smoothing it all, making sure there's no edges that are loose. And it doesn't look too bad. So this is dry now, so I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. We don't need the whole piece of fabric. We just want sort of a centerpiece to put on the cover. Just fraying the edges. Trying to make it look rough. I don't think the scissors are really helping. But there it is. Okay. So it's going to go on there in some fashion. But before that, we are going to put our spine cover on. Now, normally I would make DIY book cloth, but the fabric I got was so thick, I didn't think I needed to turn it into book cloth, but I probably should have. Because a little bit of glue does soak through all the way. And so if you look really closely, why am I admitting this? You might not even notice. If you look really closely, after it's dry, you can see where the glue has seeped through. Yeah, I know. I'm admitting it. Yeah, this is the first time I've done this without turning it into book cloth, and I think turning it into book cloth creates a barrier so that the glue doesn't show up. And considering how much glue I do put on there, it's very minimal that comes through. Like, I'm not going to tell you where, you just look really hard. And maybe you'll see it. Well, and I don't think I even notice it until after it's dry. Because I'm going to put this on here, make sure it's sticking really well. And then I'm going to dry it under weight again. Yeah. It closes well enough. Doesn't have to close beyond that angle because there's going to be signatures in there, right? So, putting some weight on there, let it dry, and now we're back. Quick. Alright, so I wanted to dole up the edges of this muslin, so I'm just inking it. I'm actually using archival. I don't know if that helps or not. And then I have these rub-on phrases and stuff. I thought they'd be kind of fun to put on there. So I am actually going to rub that right onto the muslin. And that took some effort to get that to come off of the backing and onto the fabric. I do put a little bit of matte medium on my finger and run it over the top to hopefully make sure it doesn't come off. Because I have no idea what it is they use to make those stick onto paper and stuff, but it did stick on the fabric once I could get it off of the backing. And this is my matte medium. And I think it affected the ink that I put on there too. The coffee, archival coffee color. It just looks more brown after I put the matte medium on. So since I got that, it kind of felt like a travel theme. So I have this tag, and I'm just putting a, what are those called? In it, which is a little smaller than the hole, but I lined it up just right so it fit just right on that tag. But now I want to stick this on. And person that gets this and has to do the closing mechanism, watch what I do. And you'll know you have access. Okay, so I thought I'd use a pokey tool, but then decided it wasn't quite a big enough hole. So I actually end up using the awl, which gets it a little bit bigger. And I'm just using some brads to go through, and it's going all the way through the cover. You'll see when I flip it over. They are really small brads, but I can still get them open. So I get them open and I smash them flat. So they should be secure. I certainly hope so. Anyway, so there's no glue behind the muslin. Just a note. Okay, so before I do anything else, now that I've got those brads in, I want to put my end papers. Well, I want to cover the back, the other side of the covers. So this is just scrapbook paper. I've had it for a while. I don't remember the name of it, but I thought it kind of went with the whole gold and brown sort of look that was happening. I did not ink the edges. I didn't even think about inking the edges. This time I am using the glitter glue. I didn't want, because the glitter glue is a lot drier than Elmer's, and I didn't want rippling. You do have to be careful though, because that glitter glue will leave ridges. So I do run over it with my little silicone brush there to try and smooth that out, so there isn't any physical ridges in the paper. Because if you just run the glue on there and then stick it down, it keeps its dimension in something like this. So I'm just flattening it out, so I get a nice flat. That's the intention anyway. A nice flat paper. Alright, and again, put it under weight and left it for I don't know how long. Some things are overnight, but I only had a few days to do this. So now I need to figure out how I had these arranged so that I can put them all back. So first is the tag. I left a little bit of space under the tag. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to put a string or something, attach it to that tag. I did not, but it is accessible. So I have to pull that up. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to put the butterfly in there. Got to lift up my little ticket. Ticket to the world. Get my butterfly in there. Not quite the same angle, but this is actually my first topper. My art books, the art books I've been doing don't have much on the cover, so yeah. And I've not practiced in clusters, so that's it. All right. So I have my cover done. Now we were asked to create a notepad or something to put in the back so everybody could write. Everybody that's adding something to the book can write on it. And they had suggested the document holders, and I don't know if there's a name for the document holder. It's like an old style document holder. So I'm taking a couple of things that I already have. This is actually a postcard that my great-grandfather sent to my grandmother when she was a little girl. And so I thought that would be fun. I made books for people, and I have lots of extra stuff. So I wanted to glue the front of the postcard to the back of the postcard. And that also helps make it a little bit firm, like cardstock weight, because it's just copy paper. And then I'm going to take that, and that'll be the cover of our document holder. I tried to make sure there were no air bubbles, but that's really hard when you're glue sticking such a large area to make sure you have no air bubbles. I think there's a little rippling in one spot, but it's barely noticeable. I mean, you can see it right there, but later on, you'll forget about it. The postcard is the Old Curiosities shop in Seattle, Washington, actually. And it's still there, because I've been there. And I never met my great-grandpa. Alright, so I'm rounding the corners with my corner chomper, and it doesn't line up very well. Yeah, and as that glue is drying, it's curling. But we're going to move on, because I got to get this done. So I'm just going around and inking the edges where the two papers meet, so it's not like this white. There we go. It's hard to hold it. That paper is really starting to curl on me. Alright, so to make the document keeper, you have to have, I almost did it the wrong way. I decided I wanted the brown on the outside. It kind of goes better with the book, right? The postcard's a little, not exactly go with it. Anyway, these are, I feel like my notepad's probably a little bit too big. If anybody watching this is in the group and you think it has too many pages, you don't need that much space to write, feel free to put multiple notes on one piece of paper and reduce the bulk. But this was the design that was suggested, so this is what I went with. I like it. I just feel like for this little journal, it feels kind of a little big. Anyway. So I'm making some hole reinforcers. And I'm only going to put them on the one side. I'm not going to put it over all 4 holes because then you couldn't read the postcard, right? You'd cover up some of the words. So I'm just going to do the one side, the one edge. You'll see. But just going through and inking them, we want them to look nice and distressed and vintagey, right? My grandmother was born in 1912. I doubt she was more than 10 because of the way the postcard is written. So the postcard is probably 1920. So we're talking vintage. I don't think there's a date on the postcard, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But I hope you're liking this project so far. If you are liking it, hit that like button. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your opinions, suggestions, ideas. Have you seen the other creators' videos yet? What do you think? Am I up to snuff? If you like what you see, think about subscribing. I'd love to have some new subscribers. Yeah. Anyway, so those are where I'm reinforcing, but the string is going to go through the whole thing. And yeah, so they can be taken out, changed, whatever. They're not permanent. Now, I've seen these document things made before, and I folded it. I didn't fold it the way I had intended. If I ever make another one, I will change it up. This is how I've seen them done, so it works. So it's going to go there. See, it takes up the whole section. And they said to put a pocket. I'm going to do like a half pocket. Like a corner pocket. And I can't remember. Like, so I had it all figured out, but I'm trying to do this quickly, and I cut the wrong side. So yeah, that's me throwing it down, going, yeah, that is so wrong. So I did it over again. Getting my corners set up, and then I will take the corner off of this, the edge off the side. Just a little kind of angle. Hopefully it will stay in the book, because I'm doing a half pocket, corner pocket. And I'm just angling those a little bit so that they don't stick out. Call those gussets. I think that's what they call them, gussets. It gives a little bit of space in the pocket where it's not as tight, which can be good and it can be bad. Like if you really, really need it to stay in there snug and not slip out, kind of bad. But if you have something bulky, where mine's a little bulky right now, it's kind of good. So there's my little document keeper. I'm going to stick it in there. It does have that flap under there, so it does get caught on there. You can slide it in sideways. See how it's getting caught? Slide it in sideways. It'll go in. It's all good. For some reason that way it goes easier. Hey. Anyways, there it is. I'm done. I will add a picture at the end, send it off to APG Jamie, and we're ready to go. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check the links in the description box below. Have an awesome day.